Hello again, guys and girls, the Gears of War community. Welcome back to another Gears of War 3 gameplay commentary. Today, I have for you in the form of gameplay an old kind of pick-up scrim kind of thing. I think it was both -1s, as in I count as the -1 for our team, and there was another guy who was a -1 for their team. But it was good, fun little scrim, so I thought I'd upload it for you guys, so you could still have a little bit of new gameplay, even though I can't really record much right now. Anyway. So today I wanted to talk about my experience at EGL, or specifically the travel that it took me to get there and day one. I will do another part for day two and maybe the kind of aftermath of it all. But anyway, so let's get into it. So on the way there, obviously, I live a very long way away from, I think it was Manchester, Manchester. So I had to get I had to sort out some travel, which was equally, whether I took the train, whether I took the bus, it was going to take me a long time. And I had to kind of get my mum to pay for it all, because I don't have a job right now, which is killing me. I mean, I really wish I had a job. So, if any of you out there, you know of some way, even if it's on the internet or something, I'd happily do something to make some money, bar, pornos and stuff like that. Because, this sexy is just too much for other people. Anyway, going a bit off track there. So, yeah, my mum was sorting it all out because she was paying for it. And basically, I kind of sat back and said to her, well, you sort out the travel. I was doing all the logistical things that she didn't really know that much about. So I was making sure I was getting the right Astro set. I was making sure that I was actually buying the right ticket to the event and things like that. And I said, oh, well, I've never organised travel before, so you organise it. Now, I was hoping that she was going to let me on the train, because even though that the train would be probably just about as long as the bus, it would be so much less tedious than it was on the bus. But my mum was like, oh yeah, you've never travelled long distance before on a train or anything like that. So yeah, you can sit back and you can go on the bus, because I don't want you getting confused and lost in the stations and stuff. So I ended up spending, wait for it, 11 hours, yes, 11 hours on a bus in a journey. Now, I'm fairly sure that I win the award for most dedicated player that went to EGL8, because everybody there, I sat there and I went, wait, what was your travel? Oh, 3 hours, yeah, that must have been difficult, You were there a quarter of the time I was there, yeah. So, eventually, we finally ended up in Manchester. And it turned out that there's 2 Manchester coach stations, or something like that. So, Fruz, who was supposed to pick me up from Manchester coach station, he was at the wrong place. And I had told him to go to somewhere he didn't even know about, because there was 2 Manchester coach stations. So we went to the official big one, and I went to this one where they just dropped me off after long journeys on the National Express. So eventually he came and he called me up and he said, you know what, take a cab to this certain area, and we'll take a cab to that certain area, and we'll meet up there. So I did that. We met up and finally got together, and basically we didn't do much that night. We went out, we got some food, and then we came back. And we tried to get some sleep, although we had an extra person with us called Brad, who was taking all the pictures and doing a few videos for the event. He basically he has the worst snoring ever. He has some kind of really bad form of asthma, which means that he has a really small windpipe, and he snores like a monster, honestly. But still, so let's get on to day one. Day one started off, and the first thing that they were going to kick off... Well, actually, let me start by saying it took them 4 or 5 hours after the event to finally get everybody in, because they hadn't set up things in time. The stupid motherfuckers. Because they just weren't organised enough, so they didn't get everybody in. They didn't get all the people who were supposed to be setting up in time, and that caused them to be about 4 or 5 hours late to actually get everybody into the actual event. So eventually, when we finally got into the event, the first thing we did was we did the 1v1 tournament. And the first person I played was a guy called Hybrid Angels. Everybody was sitting back there like a GB team coming to LAN. They're obviously going to come last. And oh my god, we were so wrong. But more on that later. So Hybrid Angels was the first one I played, and basically it was a close game. We were both kind of fucking about. You could tell that because it was our first game, and it ended up being 5-4 to him. Now, also keep in mind that I hadn't played in about 2 or 3 weeks before this event, so it wasn't that easy for me. But anyway, so I kind of sat up and I was like, oh my god, I just lost to this Italian GB player, this is awful. Then 5 minutes later he won his next match. I was like, okay, I guess it's not that bad. 5 minutes later he won his next match. Okay, fair enough. And I can't remember if he played another match after that or he went straight into the finals. But eventually he got into the finals against Reaction. And there was a hell of a lot of controversy following this grand finals of the 1v1 tournament, because Hybrid Angels was literally matching Reaction round for round. And it got to the last round where I think Angels was at 9 and Reaction was at 7. And Angels downed Reaction and killed him, but Reaction claimed that he had his pistol out. And we look back and you can't really see him with his pistol out in the actual video, so it's hard to tell. But even worse is, would it have even made a difference? Because if you go back and look, there's not much he could have done in that kind of situation. He was in a bad position. He would have had to slide to the cover just the same as he did with his with so-called his pistol out, and he would have had to basically make sure that this guy couldn't get him. And yet, either way, he probably still would have gotten killed by Angels. And after that, they finished the event, or they finished the match. They restarted it up, and Reaction won 3 straight rounds. So yeah, maybe it did. Maybe it should have gone to Angels. Maybe it should have gone to Reaction. It's hard to say. But personally, I would have loved it if Angels actually won, because personally, I got 4 rounds on the bugger. So yeah, I can be happy about that. And he would have won the event, and I could have been sat there like, yeah, I got 4 rounds. You only got 2 rounds. You only got 3 rounds. You know, and I could have been like that. And I could have been happy the fact that I went out to the actual winner of the event, even if it was on the first round. But I didn't really care too much about the 1v1s. Now, I was going to go over the first match that we played on that first day in this video, but it's pretty much come to an end. So I'm going to leave it here, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.